Meanwhile, here in studio, we're joined by Leah Libresco Sargeant. You can find her writings on her substack, Other Feminisms. Leah, thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Talk to us a little bit about what's been top of mind in your writings in recent days.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting time because after Dobbs, people are talking about abortion in a way they didn't. A lot of people have conflicted feelings that have kind of been covered up by the question feeling settled. And I think as much as there are tensions, there are real possibilities for inroads among feminists who have a sense that women are often punished for being women in a world that expects us to accept that we're defective men. And all we're asking is that people to consider that abortion is one more unjust demand placed on women.
And there's been a lot of talk pretty recently about the feminist movement and its impact through the years on women. What's your take on the feminist movement? Has it been a movement that really truly uplifts women?
I'd say the feminist movements, this is why my Substack is called Other Feminisms, since it's always been a contested movement. But if you go back to the heart of the movement, the foundation, Mary Wollstonecraft in England, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, these were women who were intensely concerned with women's freedom to live as women. And they thought of motherhood as part of that freedom. They wanted women to have access to their own bank accounts, their own rights, their own vote, so that they could live more freely as women and advocate for families. And you see, going back, Mary Wollstonecraft, for instance, advocating for women to have the freedom to call men to live as men. And we see today men and women kind of sloughing off their responsibilities as mothers and fathers, enabled by a culture of abortion, enabled by a culture of just sexual license that makes people unhappy. And here, when you look at the different feminisms fighting it out, you see more and more modern women saying, this has been a bad deal for us. They may not reject every part of the sexual revolution, but a culture that treats women as playthings for men and then tells women to accept it or think they're bad women, disempowered women for not liking that isn't a just culture for women.
And is there a place for pro-life women, though, now, today, in the feminist movement?
Well, I certainly hope so, because I'm one. And, since they don't give out physical membership cards, no one's taken mine away yet. But I also think there's a real chance for women to talk to their neighbors, right? Whether or not you identify with the term feminist, think about what it's meant to people. People see a way that women are given a raw deal. And again, just a culture that expects us to be generic humans rather than women. A culture that sees motherhood as something women are doing wrong because it takes them away from being like men. That's plenty of room to open up a conversation, whether you call it feminist at the outset or pro-life at the outset. And I think right now there's a lot of conversations going on that are bringing unexpected people together. I mean, even if you look at the federal level, which is not always a hopeful spot, we're talking right this month about whether there will be a CTC expansion that helps working families have the cushion they need to support the children they want to have. And it's brought together folks who definitely aren't both at the March for Life, but it's brought together pro-lifers and feminists to advocate for families.
Yeah, it's such a good point. Yeah. Leah, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, we really appreciate you joining us.
My pleasure.
It's a good conversation. Thank you.